What else? Sunday.
Itchy eye.
It's Sunday. What's your favorite day of the week? I probably asked you that, but
Oh, I don't know.
Monday?
I don't know. No.
Remember Monday was like, typically that's everybody's worst day because it's like you have to get up, back into routine, go to work, take a bus.
Like, I have favorite events throughout the week. I just don't have a favorite day per se, but
You
it's
have
like,
favorite events.
yeah, like I plug in things in my schedule that I can look forward to. Kayaking.
Like Zoom meetings.
I do have
flower arrangement.
Yeah, I do have a couple Zoom meetings that I enjoy. I know a lot of people are really like not enjoying, but I made a decision that this is the way that it can happen, and so I'm going to enjoy it. So it's not always easy.
No, I think one thing with COVID, there was a whole the Zooming trend. It was the only option, but I think now my mind's kind of opened up to some new nuances of the Zooming. So I think we're going to on Monday talk about those and how we can move forward with kombucha. But then for me personally, I found that I struggled with some of the Zoom stuff locally, but then outside of the country in the United States of America, there's some people in San Diego and some people in the Bronx, New York, and they do some recovery meetings that I've really enjoyed.
I know.
And there's a couple hundred people on those, and so those have been really neat to be a part of that group. And yeah. So
I don't know if that's what you mean by nuances, but
no, that's for Monday's discussion.
No, but
it's a team meeting for kombucha Monday moving forward.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because we tried at the beginning. We tried to be responsive to especially the corporate sector, the corporate world, with our kombucha and lunch and learns and all that stuff.
We're good.
The education.
We're going into the CB stuff right now. You're talking about CB? Yes. Catching up. Sorry, I should catch up internally, not externally.
I was just talking about Zoom.
Yeah.
And so then, anyway, carry on.
No. But so you tried some stuff, it didn't work, but now you have new ideas. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
To use the same tool in a more productive way.
I get lost.
You already had a coffee.
I just had the coffee, so maybe it hasn't caught up.
I made that coffee for you.
I think I know what you were talking about. I think I just move slowly sometimes. My brain. Anyway.
Spontaneity.
I have to eliminate things. He's not talking about this. He's not talking about that.
No, I was just really talking about at the beginning Zoom. No one really wanted anything. We wanted to help and be productive team members with these businesses.
Yeah.
Because we would come in physically to do lunch and learns,
yes.
and then we tried to reach out on Zoom, and no one really wanted it or cared about it. So.
Well, I think they were probably.
I was talking to the guys at the Mill,
the
Mill Street Brewery, that have ideas.
I don't know if they necessarily didn't want that or didn't care about that, but I think that people were so focused of how do we do this, that's where all their energy went.
And just trying to breathe and stay afloat.
Yeah.
So now things have relaxed a little bit, and Zoom is part of life, and so now we can probably get to be a part of that kind of thing again. Anyway.
Maybe. Spontaneity.
What does spontaneity mean?
We're going to find out.
Oh, it's going to... Okay. All right.
Maybe. Spontaneity, I think, means just being spontaneous. Unplanned. Able to be bendable. Flexible. Not having to be in control.
Spontooned. Does that mean
no.
That's not a word.
That's not a word.
Okay.
In recovery, we're learning to let ourselves go. We're learning to be spontaneous. Spontaneity may frighten some of us. We may be afraid of the loss of control involved with spontaneity. We may still be operating under the codependent rules that prohibit spontaneity. Be good, be right, be perfect, be strong, don't have fun, and always be in control. We may associate spontaneity with acting out in an addictive, compulsive, self-destructive, or irresponsible manner. That's not what we're talking about in recovery. Positive spontaneity involves freely expressing who we are in a way that is fun, healthy, doesn't hurt us, and doesn't infringe on the rights of others. We learn to be spontaneous and free as we grow in self-awareness and self-esteem. Spontaneity emerges as our confidence and trust in ourselves increases, and we become more secure in our ability to maintain healthy boundaries. Being spontaneous is connected to our ability to play and achieve intimacy. For all those desired acts, we need to be able to let go of our need to control ourselves and others and freely and fully enter into the present moment. Let go of your tight rein on yourself. So what if you make a mistake? So what if you're wrong? Relish your imperfections. Let yourself be a little needy, a little vulnerable. Take a risk. We can be spontaneous without hurting ourselves or others. In fact, everyone will benefit by our spontaneity. Today, I will throw out the rule book and enjoy being who I am. I will have some fun with the gifts of life, myself, and others. Well, that's a difficult one in a world that is all about rules right now.
I think this one was written for you. I think this describes a lot of our issues in the last 30 years.
Yeah.
And so this is speaking to the codependent.
The whole book is speaking to the codependent.
Very
you
much
just tried
so
to make it about you because you're an addict.
Yeah, I know. And so very much so, it's really interesting how this is kind of how you've lived a lot. Mm-hmm. And then I go on the other side of it and I'm spontaneous, but I'm overly spontaneous. So that's a clash and a half. And so I think healthy relationships have to meet in the middle of spontaneity, but I love how they said that the ability to play and to achieve intimacy. So spontaneity, the fruit of that is to be able to play and intimacy. Mm-hmm. I thought that was amazing realization.
That's an interesting connection to make.
But the rule book and that, oh my goodness, the control.
I'm telling you, I'm so challenged by this whole COVID thing because it plays into everything inside of me that all I want is to follow rules, be good enough, and or the opposite side of there's always a hammer telling me that I'm doing something wrong and that I'm always going to get in trouble, and so I always have to follow the rules and make sure everybody else is following the rules because somebody's going to get in trouble. And so it's this whole thing, it's super, super challenging for me, and it's so present, and it's all everybody's talking about. It's everywhere you go. It's all over social media. It's all over every conversation. And so it feels like it would just be so much easier if I just really limited any contact with others.
Just hid in a hole.
If you were
in your bunker.
With your
tinfoil hat on.
If you were a different person, we just would do nothing and go nowhere, and I would just be literally locked in a room banging my head against the wall
with a rule book that you're creating,
and it would take no time at all before I was literally not even getting out of bed. And that's how far I would spin out.
Not sleeping,
but
in bed.
For sure I could not sleep. There's no way I could
sleep.
I
guess the other end of spontaneity on my part would be, because I like to make it apply to me, because this is actually recovery. There is no rules, there is no boundaries, and I become rebellious. Right. So I think that's where that unhealthy part goes.
So for me, I need everybody else to tell me what's right, and then let me just follow it. And for you, you're those people are all stupid, and why would I listen to them? And I know what's right, and I will do what I think is right.
So then the other end is control.
In our extremes.
So rebellion and control, and then spontaneity maybe is in the middle. Oh my goodness, we're getting this. We're getting it. I think we've done some spontaneity things. We went to a petting zoo.
Oh, yeah.
As you exclaimed, you're the only adult out of the sunroof yelling for carrots from below. More carrots!
There's lots
of
people.
Feeding animals. We went to Enda's Hotel. We went... Yeah.
So there was lots of humans standing out of their sunroofs. I realized all of them were children.
Yeah. That's spontaneous.
Yes, that was a really wonderful weekend, and I was aware that I needed that, and I asked you, could you plan something fun? And I didn't even care if it was just a fun hour, one fun little event, but you planned, because it's typical of you, and I should have known, you like to go large, and you made literally a whole...
We didn't end up in Cuba or anything.
Oh, well, I think that's probably not.
So do you think because you've
wonderful.
had this travel thing that you don't have anymore, but do you think that's part of trying to be spontaneous? If only we could get on an airplane and go fly somewhere, then I'm spontaneous. Or is it just about changing scenery?
Oh. Well, the travel thing is I think there's so much more to it than that. I mean...
It's not a simple thing.
No, I mean, there's something about being in another country and it's like, and figuring out, and then like every day we kind of had like an idea what we would do. Like we had like this basic agenda, but every single day is just full of new experiences and new challenges that you get to overcome with the person that you're with, and you don't care because there's nothing in life that is like expecting you, and so you just get to go through every day having these fun challenges, overcoming hurdles, getting lost, but not really caring because you don't have to work anytime soon. You're not letting anybody down. If
you're talking about like travel to China.
When we went to China, that was like a huge part of it. And so that was like, and I think there's something in me that has always loved getting on an airplane and going and
an adventure and spontaneity.
Because
you actually long for
it. It feels like you leave all your responsibilities behind.
So then this is the rule book right here.
Yeah.
Man, I live in the rule book.
No, you don't.
Let's throw out the rule book.
And so I do think that you're right, and that a lot of our clashes come between like that.
The opposite ends of spontaneity.
Because we're opposite ends, and like my tendency is to like try to like make sure everything is safe and make sure everything is right. And you use the word control like quite frequently, but it's been really hard for me to identify control because control is such this like negative, awful word. But what it feels like I'm doing is like actually about like safety and like making sure that we're all okay and making sure that, you know, we're, you know, and so it's about like protection and safety for me. And so that I'm trying to like change my thinking and really come to understand that it's a negative. It's all negative. It's all bad. And I need to not be doing it. And so it's like,
but then if you want to go into that, then control is great, because if you're in control on the highway, that's a safe drive. So it's not about controlling everybody around us in a vehicle. Like what I used to do. You know, I see somebody tailgating, I'm like, I'm going to teach him a lesson. For sure. But it's being in control of myself.
Sure. But I live in a house with like 2 other people, and one in particular who...
Mocha.
On the highway, I literally, I have my car and I'm driving on the highway, but I have this like other driver who's like who's telling me like, so if I could just stay in my lane, this is the lie though. This is the lie of married life of like, I could just stay in my lane and drive my car and this, you know, and the other drivers would just let me be, then I'd be okay. But that's not true, because I have a ton of single friends who they don't have another driver telling them, and, you know, they don't have that, but they have the same issues that I have. They have the same struggle that I have. And so it just looks a little bit different. My outside voices, my outside pressures, my, like we say, outside cues in LifeLab. So my outside cues, one of the loudest outside cues lives in my home, and I am like deeply obsessed with and love and want here and enjoy. And at the same time, it seems like that's who I buck up against the most, because we are such opposites, and you want good for me, and you're trying to encourage me, and you're trying to like teach me, or in the nicest of ways, but you're trying to like show me things. And so it does feel like I'm pushing you away, like as opposed to like just getting through this on my own. I don't want to get through it on my own. I know where that would take me. But it does feel like there is more conflict, because I'm not just driving safely. I'm trying to drive my car safely. I'm trying to figure out how to drive my car safely on the highway, and trying not.
Well, the good thing is I'm a professional driver, so I have lots of valid tips and advice.
That's why I should be able to listen to you. And
it comes from a heart of caring, not control.
Oh, I know.
Because you've been in a few accidents, so 100%. I try to maybe limit. And you don't drive all the time. So sometimes I try to help, but I think that's just one. I guess that is one fishbowl example, but I guess that fishbowl extenuates into real life.
So yours comes from a heart of caring, not controlling, but mine also comes from a heart of caring, not controlling.
And so then active addiction, we use each other.
Right.
So I use you to prove that I need to go drinking, and see it's all your fault.
Right.
And then I try to control you and keep you into this house to pay the bills. And so I use you in a manner of control to blame you that I need to go drinking. and then I go drinking for 3 days, and I come back and I'm like, oh, I didn't mean to go for 3 days. I know, but you're the one that put me out the door,
Right.
and you're the one that does all this stuff. Ugh, it's your fault.
Yeah.
And I control and I manipulate.
Yeah.
And so active addiction, we use each other.
Yeah.
It's not like you're using everybody around you. They'll punch you in the face or the throat. Anyway, spontaneity. Let's meet in the middle of spontaneity for joy and intimacy and not rebellion or control.
So good.
Anyway, good luck with all that. See you at 4 p.m. for church UCC. We're in Matthew, and we're